So we have our general principle that we're going to operate with. We're looking for an act over which the defendant has physical control. That's the general principle. Now let's turn our attention to People versus Decina, a case that offers us a wrinkle to that particular principle. I've already asked you to answer some questions to People versus Decina, which we're going to review in this part of the lecture. First, check out the caption to the case. This is a criminal case, and so captions or headings for criminal cases all look the same. They'll be People versus, or State versus, or United States versus, because that signifies that the state or the federal government has actually brought the charge. You're not reading the full version of the case, you're reading selected passages. You're reading certain passages that bring out an important point of the case. And that's an important item to stress. When you read your cases, ask yourself, why am I reading this case? What concept is being anchored by this case? Where does this fit into the concepts we're discussing? That will help you tremendously in the readings. Here, we're going to try to figure out whether what Decina did is criminally culpable. Did he do a sufficient actus reus for the commission of the crime? So let's examine the questions I've already asked of you, and let's see how you did. The first question I asked was, what was Decina charged with? In criminal law, it is incredibly important to know what the defendant was charged with and what he was convicted of, because sometimes a prosecution will go for a larger, more serious crime, but the jury comes back with a lesser conviction. So it's important to know both of those. Here, the opinion tells us that the defendant was charged with violating Penal Code Section 1053A, which is the crime of criminal negligence in the operation of a vehicle that results in death. Now, for purposes of our class, for purposes of a final examination, you don't have to know the name of that crime. You don't have to know the specifics of that crime. Here's what you do have to know. What you have to know is, if you read a statute, can you pull out the actus reus, or the action? Can you pull out the mental state for that crime? And based upon all your learning, based upon the cases you read, can you interpret what that actus reus requires, what that mental state requires? So here we have an actus reus. What's the actus reus of this crime, the actus reus of 1053A? The actus reus is the operation of a vehicle that results in death. And notice I'm emphasizing the word operation. Somebody who operates or drives the car is the actus reus. Did you discover the mental state for this crime? The mental state is criminal negligence while he is operating the car. Sometimes it can get confusing, and one can think that the mental state is the actus reus, or the actus reus reverse is the mental state. But I want us to try to keep them completely separate.